So I finally achieved my dreams, my childhood dreams, by doing a Belle cosplay. And I wanted to show you guys a bit about my process and how I did it. A bit of a disclaimer here, I am not a professional cosplayer. This is only the second dress that I've actually sewed from scratch, so just give me a break. Okay, so the bodice is essentially made out of 4 pieces of fabric. There's the front 2, connected in the middle, and then the back 2, connected with a zipper in the back. Now for this, I did not use a pattern. I used what is called draping, which I will show you in a little bit. A pattern might be a little bit easier, but this is just how I taught myself, so. A very important part of this is pinning accurately and trying on every step of the way. So draping is when you lay the fabric taut against your dress form, sketch out the pattern that you want, and then cut it out, leaving enough room for seam allowances. This just allows me to have a lot more control over what I want the fabric to look like that I feel like a pattern probably wouldn't give me. So the 4 pieces of fabric, the 2 in the front and the 2 in the back. So the front part of the bodice, after connecting in the middle, I sewed what are called darts, which are just folding over the fabric, which tucks in the waist but leaves the chest bigger, which I need. This is my first time actually doing this, but I think it came out pretty good. So after making sure it was pinned how I wanted, I connected the front and the backs at the sides so that I could try it on and see how it fit and what alterations I needed to make. And in doing this, I found that the straps needed to be fixed a little bit before they were actually sewed. So I did that and then sewed them. And then I pinned the edge hem and sewed it. I was not very accurate with this, and it was a little bit wavy, but I think it came out pretty good. And you know, if you wanted to make this garment a lot more wearable and fancy, you could do a lining on the inside, but I knew that I wasn't going to wear this that much, so I didn't. For the middle part in the front, I decided to add boning that you would use in a corset to add more structure. And I'm glad that I did this because I think it added just a little something, something, you know? You know. You totally know. And again, I tried it on after everything was sewed. I pretty much tried it on after every step of the process just to make sure, because I did not have a pattern, that everything was going to fit me well. And I was pretty happy with the bodice. Okay, the skirt. So the skirt is essentially one long rectangle, and the length is going to be however long you want it plus the hem allowance, however long you want the hem to be. And the top is going to be 3 to 4 times your waist measurement. So the hem is going to go up, so make sure you give yourself enough for that. Thankfully, the pre-cut fabric that I got from Joann's was pretty much the size that I wanted it to be, including my hem, and I did a pretty big hem, so just be mindful of what you want. For the top, what you're going to do is gather. So what gathering does is basically bring it down to your waist measurement, and it creates a lot of volume and a really pretty gathering effect at your waist. Gathering, gathering, gathering. For this process, you're going to want to make sure you give yourself a lot of slack on the string, because what you're going to want to do is, once you have it all gathered, you're going to want to stretch it out evenly so that it matches your waist measurement. I think I messed up a little bit on this, not making sure that all the ruffles were the same, and some of them were flatter than the others. So once that's set and your hem is up, you can connect it to the bodice. I always find this part really fun because it's really cool to see your garment actually look like a garment. And it's pretty satisfying. So again, I tried it on. I know, guys, I am the wrinkle queen. I really am. After I was happy with that, I committed and sewed it. Looking back, I sewed it with the bodice part facing me, or up, when I probably should have done the gathered side facing up so that I could see which ones were being kind of squished and how they were evenly spread. So once that's all set, you have a little dress. And then you can add the zipper, which is actually a lot easier than I thought it was going to be, and a lot less daunting. Guys, look how good I am at tutorials. You're learning so much. Look at that. So for the zipper, you have your back of your dress and the back of the skirt. And what's outlined as blue is what my zipper was. And then the rest in red is just what needs to be sewed up afterwards. For the bow, which is actually pretty fun, you're going to take 2 sheets of fabric, the same size, however big you want your bow to be. And you're going to sew along the outside, except this chunk in the middle, and I'll show you why. So in that part that you did not sew, you're going to reach in and turn it inside out. And what this does is hide any trace of sewing so that it just looks like a cute little bow. It's a good description. After that, you're going to add a small rectangle of fabric, and you're going to kind of cinch in the bow. Ta-da! Who knew that bows were so easy? Okay, so the apron. The apron is essentially 2 pieces of fabric for the waistband and the actual apron itself. What I did was kind of play around with the height and width that I wanted it, which I did for a lot of things in this process because I didn't have a pattern. Which I think is nice because it's a lot more customizable. And what you're going to do is gather the top like you did with the skirt, but it's going to be a lot less dramatic because you have a lot less distance to go. Gathering is kind of a pain in the butt, but I think it looks nice in the end. Once I was happy with that, I decided to move on to my waistband. Now originally I ended up with 4 inches wide the entire time, but over the process of making it, I ended up sewing over a couple times, so it ended up only being a couple inches wide. Move, Binks! This is the original hem, which I ended up probably doubling over. And then you're going to connect the 2. Now, for me, a personal choice, I decided to put hook clasps on the back of my apron instead of tying it like Belle probably would have done. And I did this because I wanted the bow to always look the same and perfect no matter how I put it on. So I'm actually pretty glad I did this. It's a lot less to worry about. And finally, for the slip, I took an actual antique Victorian slip that I had that needed some TLC, and I added this really pretty trim fabric from the fabric store. And the shirt I had already had in my wardrobe. It's just a white collared shirt. Whew, okay, getting ready. So for Belle's makeup, I decided to keep it more on the natural side because although she's a cartoon, you can kind of tell she's not wearing all that much makeup. So I wanted to keep authentic to that. But I did put on lashes because, you know, I did decide actually to put on some brown eyeshadow because in the cartoon you can kind of tell she's got a little something going on, you know. The wig! So this wig actually was a bit wonky because the sides of my hair still stuck out and they did not include the sideburn pieces. So I will show you how I got around that after my spirit gum dries, which took like freaking forever, guys. But it's worth it so that your wig actually doesn't fall off. Shake it, shake it. So what I did was I took brown hair color spray and disguised the fact that I was a redhead and tried to blend the color as much as I could with the actual wig. So that way I can incorporate my natural hair into the hairstyle and it makes it look a lot more natural. Natural. But I warn you guys, this stuff is messy.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
And so I moved forward with doing her hairstyle, which I think looks okay here, but in reviewing the photos and video, I kind of look more like Thomas Jefferson than I do Belle. And what I think would have fixed that would be if I added more volume at the top where the part is instead of just the sides. So, you know, just a pro tip, unless, you know, you're going for that founding fathers look, because then you're golden. But, you know, that's hindsight for you. And that is it, you guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed this, and I really loved being Belle, so let me know if you like these kind of videos, and maybe I'll do them for my future cosplays. Alright, bye guys. Love you! I got the words wrong. Oh no! Adventure in the great woods somewhere. He wanted more than you can tell.
Ew.
He's pooping. I want much more than this provincial life.
Dès que je t'aperçois, alors je sens dans moi mon cœur qui